and an artist's way of looking at food is completely different to a chef's way of looking at food.
Food is really culture. يعني الأكل عندنا ثقافة وفي وايد أشياء تتعلق بالأكل.
My initial thoughts was it's a challenge for sure because you're working with something new.
I mean, for me, it was like more like a Jackson Pollock experiment. How do we throw things together and can it become something?
We express ourselves through food. Bahrainis do that a lot. And if anybody has come to Bahrain, then they understand the sensation of being overfed constantly.
اليوم هاي التجربة ما حد يقدر في العالم اليوم انه يفصل الطبخ او الطعام عن الفن. فالفود هو ارت والارت هو طبعا مثل تيست الفود.
Food is culture. It was such an interesting concept.
When you go to a restaurant, you experience the culture of food.
Whatever surrounding us is, to me, is culture.
Every culture has their own food, and it's how they're delivering their culture. And this is where I come in play. It's a challenge for me always. And you know, the practical and theory doesn't always work out.
الحياة جميلة والحياة تجربة تستحق أن تعاش. فحلو أن نجرب أكثر من شيء.
Art is tactile, is visual, is how do you say, audible. They're all this, right? So you think about music, paintings, dance and whatever. So it's physical. There is so many expressions, right? Food encompasses all.
Food is not simply a product of nature. Food expresses a particular people's ideas, traditions, customs, and social behavior. So far from being a simple means of sustenance, food also expresses one's individuality and social cultural identity. As Massimo Montanari writes, food is culture when it's produced, because we do not only use what is found in nature, as all the other animals do, but we create our food. In other words, we do not just pick berries or hunt game, but we eat pizza, cakes, salami, and other foods we do not find available in nature. Food is also culture when it is prepared, because once the essential ingredients have been acquired, we transform them and we create an artifact, a new product, far from the simple ingredients we used. Even the simplest cake is not merely a combination of flour, butter, sugar, and eggs, but something completely different from its 4 basic ingredients. Food is also culture when it is eaten, because we choose our food according to our taste and economic, nutritional, and symbolic values. We can eat something or not depending on our income. For example, not everybody can afford caviar. We can choose our eating habits based on nutritional values. For example, we can become vegetarian, vegan, and eat only specific food. Or we can consume food based on religious beliefs. For example, if you're Muslim or Jewish, you do not eat pork. If you are Christian, you try to avoid meat, at least on Good Friday. So our food is part of our culture, such as languages, music, technology, architecture, and so on. Food involves immaterial aspects of culture, such as human beliefs and values, but at the same time physical expressions of culture, such as farming, plantation, and of course, cooking. With culture, we indicate something directly connected with human societies and with human beings. And we, human beings, have always felt that we are fundamentally different from other animals. We have done things that no other species could do. We have reshaped the world around us. In fact, with culture, we can easily refer to human production, something that humans construct and manage. On the contrary, we generally use the word nature to indicate the elements and phenomena of the physical world. We mean plants, animals, landscapes, and other features and products of the earth as opposed to human creations. Keep it in mind, we consider nature a natural product untouched by human intervention. We, in some way, consider nature and culture as two opposite entities. Natural, the first one, and artificial, the second one, literally meaning a product made by human beings. So, if food is culture and culture is an artifact, a product of humans, even food is an artificial product. Somehow, this is how things are. Let me try to explain what I mean by food as a human artifact, as an artificial product. We often talk about natural food. We consider the necessity to return to nature to have tasty, good, and healthy foodstuffs. It is a problem of words, since with natural food, we can only literally indicate what is growing spontaneously in the woods, rivers, sea, and nothing else. In fact, not even the most organic lettuce and tomatoes can be per se considered natural food, since they are a creation of human beings who plant them, water them, and make them grow, applying culture to all these actions. We are tempted to consider a fundamental naturalness in agricultural activities, and we confuse tradition with nature and primitive and archaic ways to produce food with nature itself. In some way, we consider the original agriculture as a direct product of nature, when agriculture is a human creation and it was perceived by our ancestors like this. The ancient people considered agriculture a moment of breakthrough and innovation, when we humans separated ourselves from nature and when civilization was born. So agriculture is a human product. It is a product of culture. The domestication of plants and the taming of animals gave human beings the power to become the rulers of the natural world, to exempt themselves from the relationship of the total dependency in which they had lived before. Recently, there has been a reaction against the external environmental effects of mechanized agriculture and increasing support for the organic movement and sustainable agriculture. This is wonderful, and it is necessary if we want to eat better and healthier. But it does not mean that we are going back necessarily to nature, simply because we oppose the extensive use of fertilizers and pesticides. No, we are merely trying to recover more sustainable traditions and production methods. Food still remains an artifact. a human product of human beings, and so a product of culture. The idea of the artifice that transforms nature is at the base of the act of cooking. Cooking is an act of transformation from a product of nature into a product of culture, and the cooks and chefs can be considered artists because they transform nature. What is fascinating about culinary history is discovering how humankind, with the effort and imagination, could transform nutrition into a cultural experience, an occasion for pleasure. Just think about bread, an essential element of the Mediterranean civilization, what we consider the most natural tool for nutrition. As we will see in the next lecture, bread is made with much work and is the sum of human abilities, techniques, and knowledge. The most natural food is the first big step away from nature because it is a human creation, a product of culture, and represents the cultural values of groups of people.